This is his house. So whatever he do, what can I say? We all have common sense. Little people that's not supposed to be there.
Oprah is really trying to keep her distance from Diddy these days. We've seen them roll together in the past, right? But with all the wild allegations swirling around Diddy, parties, shady tapes, and, well, a whole lot of questionable behavior, Oprah's decided to slowly back away like she's in one of those no-drama zones. She's all about empowering women and taking a stand, and we know she's not about to let herself get caught up in any mess that could threaten her vibe. Oprah's just out here making sure her name stays sparkling clean while Diddy's having a moment. And let's be honest, who can blame her? Diddy circle braces for the Epstein's prosecutor.
Team prosecuting Sean Diddy Combs in the Southern District of New York just gained a new member, and it's a big name in that office. She's an assistant U.S. attorney in the Southern District of New York, and she's known for working on other high-profile sex trafficking cases.
The moment has arrived that's got Diddy's whole crew freaking out. The same prosecutor who went after Jeffrey Epstein, Maureen Comey, is reportedly now targeting Diddy. That's like if the FBI sent in their A-team to investigate you, and you know it's not for a good reason. If you're Diddy, you're probably looking over your shoulder every 5 seconds now. Maureen Comey, if you don't know her name, you should. She's the one who was behind the investigation into Epstein. This woman took on the rich, the powerful, the untouchable. Epstein thought he was above the law, but Comey proved that not even the wealthiest predators are safe. So, when news broke that she's allegedly now eyeing Diddy, it was like a collective gasp from everyone who's even remotely connected to the man. People in Diddy's camp? Oh, they're sweating. And let's be real, who wouldn't be? When a prosecutor like Comey comes for you, there's no messing around. This is not your typical, hey, we need a little chat situation. She doesn't play. But it's not just the folks in Diddy's inner circle who are nervous. Celebrities who've been around him, people who know how Diddy works, are also starting to keep their distance. And you know how these stars love to talk. They can't help but drop a quote or two when the drama's thick. A source close to one celeb said, "If Maureen Comey is looking into Diddy, everyone's got to watch their backs. She's not the type to back down. She's the one who cracked Epstein, and no one's untouchable under her watch." Diddy, being the seasoned mogul he is clearly aware that things are getting real. But he's been in this game a long time, right? He's weathered scandals, public feuds, and more rumors than you can shake a stick at. But now, things are taking a different turn. As a source close to Diddy put it, this is a whole new level. Maureen Comey doesn't care who you are. She's here to clean up the mess. And let's be clear, when people start talking about this woman, they don't hold back. Some of the bigger names who've been dragged into her investigations are terrified about what might be unearthed next. A former associate of Diddy allegedly said, "Man, if Comey's on your case, it's only a matter of time before stuff starts leaking. The way she took down Epstein, she's not the kind of person you want after you." Imagine being in Diddy's shoes for a minute. You've got Maureen Comey, the woman who helped put away Epstein, looking your way. That's the kind of pressure that makes you question every decision you've made over the last decade. It's like the ultimate plot twist in a true crime docu-series. Diddy's life, which was already pretty public, is now on a whole new stage, with a prosecutor who's known for bringing down the most notorious of the elite. Now, let's add some drama to the mix, shall we? Diddy has a huge list of celebrity friends, right? But all of a sudden, they're radio silent. People like Jay-Z, Kanye, and even Oprah, who've always had Diddy's back in some way or another, aren't exactly jumping up to defend him in this latest scandal. I'm just saying, I can't be out here supporting something like that, one unnamed celebrity said. Maureen Comey doesn't just go after people for no reason. She's got the receipts, she's bringing the heat, and right now the heat is on Diddy. Honestly, it's getting real spicy out here. The celebrity world is full of tight-knit friendships and secret alliances, but when someone like Maureen Comey comes calling, people are suddenly playing it safe. They'll back you up on the red carpet, but when it's a federal prosecutor knocking on your door, everyone's trying to disappear into the shadows. So buckle up, folks. If this investigation takes off like it could, we might see some seriously big names scrambling. Oprah's inner circle. Oprah and Diddy go way back, like way back. These two have been in the same circles for years, rubbing elbows at high-profile events, collaborating on various projects, and, let's be honest, creating an empire of fame and influence. They've shared stages, parties, and power lunches, and it's no surprise that their relationship has been one of the talked-about dynamics in Hollywood for a while. But let's not forget, Oprah has some questionable ties in her social circle. She's famously friends with people like Harvey Weinstein and Jeffrey Epstein, two names that definitely aren't on the list of people you'd want to get caught associating with. Now, throw Diddy into the mix, and you've got a trio that's raised a few eyebrows over the years. If you're connecting the dots here, it's kind of like the infamous Hollywood elite club, where power, influence, and money rule, but at the same time, the deeper you dig, the messier things look. Oprah's relationships with these men have often been the subject of gossip and scrutiny, especially as the Me Too movement gained traction and secrets started to surface. There's always been speculation about how much Oprah knew about the darker sides of her friends. Was she really in the dark about Weinstein's predatory behavior? What about Epstein's trafficking ring? People started asking the tough questions, but Oprah has always stayed pretty tight-lipped. Now Diddy's name is being thrown around in the same mix, and it's got people wondering if Oprah's been quietly supporting her old pal in ways the public doesn't fully understand. When it comes to powerful people, Oprah is a master at keeping things professional and private. She's a businesswoman, first and foremost, and if keeping quiet about Diddy's shady dealings is part of the business, well, she's been doing it for years. But here's the thing. Oprah's reputation for being a moral compass of the media world is starting to clash with the people she's surrounded herself with. So now, as Diddy's facing some major legal pressure, thanks to Maureen Comey, who's got a reputation for going after powerful predators, Oprah's fans are side-eyeing her a little more closely. Will she continue to stand by Diddy, or is the pressure of these associations finally going to push her to cut ties? It's definitely a messy situation when you consider how much Oprah's brand revolves around the idea of empowerment and trust.
Let's talk about what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. And this is what I do know for sure. When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment. And what I do believe is actually happening is that, first of all, it's triggering a lot of unreleased pain, repressed anger, guilt, and suffering that a lot of women have had.
When your closest friends have been caught up in scandal after scandal, it's hard to keep selling that good vibes persona without people wondering if you're really in the know. Tom Hanks speaks out on the hidden truths of Hollywood. And if you think Oprah's got it tough, Tom Hanks, America's sweetheart, has finally spilled the beans on his thoughts about Hollywood. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Known for his wholesome roles, think Forrest Gump, Castaway, and Saving Private Ryan, Hanks has always seemed like the nicest guy in Hollywood. But behind all those smiling faces, he's got some serious thoughts about the industry that he's spent decades in. And guess what? He's not mincing words. As the industry faces more and more questions about who's really running the show, Tom, like Oprah, is calling out the truth. Hollywood has shifted, and it's not always for the better. Both icons are seeing the cracks in their industries, whether it's Oprah's scandal-ridden friendships or Tom's critique of Hollywood's focus on profits over art. It's clear, nothing is as perfect as it seems behind the scenes. Hanks recently opened up about the transformation he's seen in Hollywood, particularly how it's shifted from a land of creativity and storytelling to one more focused on business. He made it clear that, in his view, studios have traded in artistry for box office numbers. The business side of things has overtaken the creative side, he said, and it's clear he's not a fan of the trend. In fact, Tom believes that Hollywood has become more about marketing a movie than making it great, saying that it feels like the art and the artists have taken a backseat to the bottom line. But don't think Hanks is throwing in the towel just yet. While he's not shy about calling out Hollywood's flaws, he still believes in the power of film. He knows the industry is still a dream for many, but he wishes it could go back to focusing more on meaningful stories. It used to be about the movie, the storytelling. Now it's about the brand, he shared. And honestly, we can't help but nod in agreement with him. It's not every day you get to hear a living legend like Hanks get real about the industry. And it's not just the business side of things that's bothering Tom. He's also spoken about the impact of cancel culture and how it's changed the way people in Hollywood behave. We've all been on this ride where you have to watch what you say. You can't say anything that will get you in trouble because it can get blown out of proportion, he admitted. It's almost as if Tom Hanks, the nice guy of Hollywood, has a limit to how far the industry can push this fear-based culture. He also mentioned how things have gotten tougher for younger actors. In the past, you could make a mistake and learn from it. Now, there's no room for that. But Hanks isn't all doom and gloom about the changes. He's just hoping the pendulum swings back in favor of creativity. You know, I've been in this game for a long time, and it's always been about storytelling, he said. I just hope we get back to that. Despite all the talk about Hollywood's shift toward commercialism and the pressures of culture, Hanks remains a positive force in the industry. He hasn't let the chaos consume him, and he's still standing strong, committed to telling stories that matter. At the end of the day, you've got to keep going. Keep telling the stories you believe in, he said. If anyone can pull that off, it's definitely Tom Hanks. So, while Hanks's candid thoughts about Hollywood might be a wake-up call for some, it's also a reminder that even the nicest, most successful actors aren't immune to the pressures of the industry. But if Tom Hanks, the guy who played Forrest Gump, can stay true to his values, maybe there's hope for Hollywood after all. As he said, it's all about the story. If we lose that, we've lost everything. We couldn't agree more, Tom. The party that has celebrities worried. Usher and Diddy used to be like best friends, thick as thieves. Usher even credited Diddy with shaping his career, saying, "He taught me a lot about how to make it in this game. Diddy's the reason I'm where I am." The two partied hard, made music together, and lived the kind of lifestyle that most people only dream of. But now, with all the drama surrounding Diddy's parties, Usher's probably regretting the whole mentor thing. As the stories unfold about what allegedly went down at these wild Diddy parties, minor involvement, secret tapes, and a whole lot of shady behavior, some of the stars who once rubbed elbows with Diddy are now realizing they might have been a little too close to the flame. Celebrities who were regulars at Diddy's legendary bashes are suddenly looking over their shoulders. One insider admitted, "You think you're just partying with Diddy, having a blast, and then the next thing you know, you're wrapped up in a federal investigation. Not the vibe." The worst part? Some of them are actually worried that they might end up in the crossfire. There's a lot of murmuring behind the scenes, with one celebrity even confessing, "I've done a lot of questionable things. But if I'm on a tape with underage people at one of Diddy's parties, yeah, I'm out of here." The reality check has definitely set in, and it's got people scrambling. It's also pretty clear that Usher's public silence on the issue isn't just for show. He's laying low, avoiding any potential fallout from his connection to Diddy. After all, nobody wants to be linked to a scandal that involves underage victims and questionable behavior, no matter how close you are to the person involved. And with rumors flying about tapes, minors, and potentially illegal activities, who can blame him for staying quiet? While Usher may be dodging the bullet, other former partygoers are keeping their heads down too. Diddy's once exclusive guest list is starting to look a lot less appealing when the consequences of attending those wild bashes come into focus. It's a classic case of keep your circle tight. And right now, some of Diddy's old friends are realizing that their circle might not have been as tight as they thought. Diddy's televised trial. Do you know what Diddy's biggest nightmare is? It's not just the criminal investigation or the mounting pressure from the media. It's the possibility of a televised trial. You know how Hollywood loves a juicy scandal, and if this thing goes to court, it'll be plastered all over your TV screens, news feeds, and probably even Instagram stories. If you think Diddy's used to being in the spotlight, wait until cameras are focused on every move he makes during a televised trial. That's a whole new level of exposure. Tony Busby, who has handled some pretty high-profile cases, didn't sugarcoat it when he said, "A televised trial is a whole other ballgame. You think these celebrities are used to public attention, but when it's in a courtroom, there's no escaping it. Every single moment will be scrutinized." Busby's point? In a trial like this, the pressure to perform and the weight of public opinion could be crushing, especially for someone with as many high-profile connections as Diddy. From the lawyers to the witnesses, everyone involved in this case is going to have their own agenda, and you better believe cameras are going to catch it all. But what's worse for Diddy is how much this trial could overshadow his entire career. We're talking about a man who's spent decades building a massive empire, from music to fashion to his business ventures. But if all the drama spills into a televised trial, it might overshadow everything. Busby said, "People think they know the truth until the cameras start rolling, and then everything changes. The truth comes out in ways no one expects." If this trial is televised, it means people all over the world will be glued to their screens watching Diddy's every move. And when you have a personality as big as his, the public's perception becomes a big part of the game. In other words, the pressure to keep it together under the microscope will be intense. Diddy's used to being in the spotlight. But this is a whole new level, and it's going to take a lot more than just charm and a killer fashion sense to navigate it. Tanya Wallace and the whistleblowers. People are starting to speak out, and the stories they're sharing about Diddy's infamous parties are getting louder and more alarming. One of the most talked about names to emerge is Tanya Wallace, a party planner who's been on the inside of Diddy's world for years. Her testimony about what she allegedly witnessed at his 2018 party has shaken up the narrative surrounding the mogul. Wallace was at one of Diddy's infamous gatherings, and she's described a scene so unsettling it could have come straight out of a thriller. According to her, there were minors at the party, which was supposed to be for adults only. She described a moment where she saw what seemed like a group of adults trying to hide the fact that these underage people were at the party. Wallace didn't shy away from the gravity of what she thought was happening, and when she was pressed further, she clarified. "They were little people who shouldn't be there," she admitted. "What did I see? It didn't sit right with me." The gravity of her statements isn't lost on anyone, especially considering that this wasn't some tiny gathering. This was a massive event with celebrities, staff, and guests from all over, and Wallace isn't the only one coming forward. Other individuals who were reportedly at Diddy's parties have shared similar accounts, some claiming they saw disturbing things but felt too pressured or intimidated to speak out earlier. It's not just about the celebrities in the room, it's about the people who have been behind the scenes, those who know what really goes down when the lights go down. But here's the catch. While Wallace's story raises serious questions, there's no clear-cut evidence to back up the full extent of her claims. And this is what makes it all even murkier. People want answers, but at the same time, it's tough to tell if we're hearing the whole truth or just a small piece of a much bigger puzzle. What's also concerning for Diddy is how these accusations are stacking up. The mounting pressure and the weight of the testimonies from people who've witnessed things that don't add up are catching attention. With rumors circulating and more whispers coming from inside sources, the question isn't whether Diddy was at the center of these bizarre parties. It's how many others were involved and how far it all went. Wallace, in particular, has been a crucial figure in these ongoing revelations. Her willingness to come forward, despite the pressure she's under, sheds light on how deep this story goes. While some are asking, why didn't she just leave when she saw this stuff? Wallace has made it clear that she was a guest of a Saudi prince, and when you're in that position, leaving isn't as simple as it sounds. But with all the allegations swirling and celebrities starting to distance themselves from Diddy, it's clear that these bombshell stories are just the beginning. The public wants answers, and the more people who step forward with their own accounts, the more scrutiny Diddy will face. Will anyone else be brave enough to share what they know? Or will the truth remain buried under layers of celebrity status and wealth? Only time will tell. Diddy's attempts to silence the truth. There's no denying that Diddy's parties have been the stuff of legend, but not all of those legendary moments are ones that should be celebrated. According to some sources, there are tapes. Yes, tapes. Capturing the wild, sometimes unsettling behavior at Diddy's infamous gatherings. These tapes aren't just party footage. They're allegedly a key piece in what could be a massive legal battle for the mogul. And with every new development, it seems like Diddy's efforts to silence anyone who tries to speak up are getting harder to ignore. These tapes, according to reports, show more than just people having fun. Some insiders have suggested they contain disturbing footage of celebrities and others engaging in questionable activities. While the details remain under wraps, the rumor mill has been working overtime. What's even more concerning is the claim that Diddy had a massive surveillance system set up at his homes, including multiple cameras capturing every inch of his lavish parties. Imagine that, being at one of Hollywood's most exclusive gatherings, only to realize you're being recorded from every angle, all while enjoying a drink and mingling with stars. At one of Diddy's notorious parties, guests found themselves surrounded by A-list celebrities, the atmosphere wild and unpredictable. But as the night went on, it became clear that there was more to the scene than meets the eye. Guests started to realize they were being watched, not by typical security, but by Diddy himself. Reports suggest he had cameras set up everywhere, turning the event into something far more surveillance than just a high-profile gathering. With access to footage capturing everything, Diddy reportedly used these tapes to keep certain things under wraps. The speculation is that these recordings could serve as leverage to silence anyone who might reveal the secrets lurking behind his glamorous public persona. And let's not forget the lengths Diddy allegedly went to in order to maintain control over the narrative. Several people, including former associates and even employees, have claimed that they were intimidated into silence. Whether it was through hush money, threats, or the fear of having their own dirty laundry aired, Diddy seems to have mastered the art of silencing those who might pose a threat to his carefully crafted image. The use of non-disclosure agreements, NDAs, has been one of his go-to tactics to keep anyone from spilling the beans. According to sources, if you were part of Diddy's world, you were likely asked to sign an NDA that would prevent you from talking about what went down at those parties, or else. But what happens when someone dares to defy the silence? When an insider gets brave enough to speak up about what they've witnessed? That's when the real drama begins. Over the years, many have claimed they've seen things at Diddy's parties that didn't sit right, but no one seemed to be willing to talk, until now. People like Tanya Wallace, who's come forward with claims that she saw people at Diddy's 2018 party, are pushing the boundaries of the narrative. And with the existence of these tapes, the stakes are even higher. It's no surprise that these tapes are reportedly under investigation, and if the authorities gain access to them, the whole situation could blow up in a way no one saw coming. Diddy has always been known for being careful with his public image, but these tapes could expose more than just a few high-profile missteps. They could expose a culture of intimidation and control that has allowed Diddy to operate under the radar for so long. So, while Diddy might have used these tapes to maintain his position at the top of the celebrity food chain, the situation is changing fast. The more people come forward with stories of what they've seen at these parties, the more difficult it becomes for Diddy to keep the lid on everything. With the feds looking into it and the tapes out there, the question remains: will these tapes be the key to bringing Diddy down, or will he once again find a way to slip through the cracks? The truth has a way of surfacing, no matter how hard you try to bury it. And for Diddy, those tapes might just be the thing that he can't control anymore. As the pieces continue to fall into place, it seems like the truth is finally catching up to those who think they're untouchable. The more these stories unfold, the harder it gets to keep running from reality. What do you think? Will these elites finally face the consequences, or will they keep dodging justice? Share your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to check out these other videos we've selected just for you. Catch you in the next one.